The second video is about my kidnapping via voices under the cover of my partial madness in November 1996 when I used to live alone in Mohammedia, some 20 kilometers away from Casablanca. I call here the perpetrator's companions 96. They used new technology of sounds and voices to communicate with me at distance. By this means, they trick the psychiatrists who take this communication as the auditory hallucination created by mental illnesses. In the first video, I said that the voice of Companions 96 led me at night on Tangier route from a town I arrived at the beginning of that night on feet. That town can be either Sidi Qasim or Sidi Sliman, and I came to it from Sidi Hia Gharb after the ticket inspector compelled me to get out of the train that I got in Rabat railway station, still in a state of partial madness, in November 1996. I especially said that the voice ordered me to not check any waymarks while it was leading me at that night by Tangier route. So at that night, from that town, the voice orders made me head towards the west-north by a main countryside tarmac road, when in the day before I was heading to east on feet, when I intended to come back to El Ayoun near Oujda, where my parent used to live. The Companions 96 orders led me till I reached a bridge on a wadi, on a natural channel that operates only when it rains. Then the voice ordered me in Arabic, don't pass on the bridge, cross the wadi by the right side of the bridge, cross through water. Because of the rain of the days before, there was a water lake near the bridge. I then outright rushed into the water that was a bit deep. I waded through the water and managed to reach the other bank of the wadi, of the channel. I said it was night then. At that stage of my controlled wanderings in a state of partial madness, I wore an old white oriental slipper at one foot and an old black shoe without heel at the other feet. The voice of Companions 96 told me in Arabic about my odd shoes when I got out of the water lake near the bridge. Then, now, even if you tell them to dry, they will not dry. It was the voice tone of revenge. Companions 96 meant that they will no longer dry my wet shoes as they did before in Saleh town surroundings when they were leading me there at full trot one night before in November 96. Then the voice proceeded with cruel instruction that night. The voice ordered me, "Now remove your shoes and abandon them there on the spot." I didn't resist even that cruel order that meant that I would walk barefooted for that night. It meant to tread with bare feet on small stones, on twigs, on debris, on the rough ground, etc., etc. Because I walked outside the tarmac on the verge of the road I was led by. At some stage of that night journey, the voice of Companion 96 told me in Arabic, "You will go to Kenitra. There, near the railway station, there is a cash phone box. But you will not go to the main railway station in which surroundings your friend Tijani abides. There is indeed 2 railway stations in Kenitra, and near the main one there is actually my ex-friend family property. This ex-friend of mine, Tijani, was my roommate in the university residence Suisse first in Rabat in year 1979-1980, when I was a university student there. I used to visit Tijani in weekends in Kenitra, and at that period, but only rarely. This mention of a friend I hadn't seen for 17 years then meant that my kidnapping perpetrators, Companions 96, had been following me since the far past of the 70s. I have been a targeted individual. At another moment of that night torture, Companions 96 told me in Arabic, "Go faster, hurry up, Al-Hmima is following us." It was irony and hint. Al-Hmima Muhammad is a yoga instructor. I attended some of his courses in years 1994, 1995 in Casablanca, when I used to live alone in Mohammedia near Casablanca. Beyond the screen, there is politics I am not aware of. Then further on my way that night on Tangier Road, led barefooted by Companions 96, the voice ordered me, "Get at the left of the road, go into the plowed field." In fact, that field I entered in was not plowed. I first passed near a small group of clay houses in that field. Only one single man wearing a grey jellaba with his hood pulled down was walking near those houses in the moonlight. He didn't look in my direction. The voice orders were suspended for a while in the field, but I kept going ahead on my own in the same direction the voice was leading me in before. Then there was a real river, a rather wide one, flowing from my right to my left, and it blocked my way. When I saw a light glittering further ahead beyond the river barrier, I took it for a signal made by Companions 96 and thought that they were prompting me to dare and cross the river. It was the madness ill interpretation. And I actually entered in the river water even though I haven't learned to swim in my life. The water was rather deep, but as soon as I felt the imminent danger of sinking, a reflex made me stretch my arm and grab a kind of small bush on the bank. I could then rectify my balance and I managed to get out of the river water. I soon forgot that danger of drowning in the river and I started to try to awkwardly swim in shallow water near the bank along the side of the river. It was then that the voice of Companions 96 came back to order me in Arabic. Get out of the water. When I obeyed, the voice added, now crawl on hands and knees. The voice used the French word ramper. I obeyed and started to crawl in the mud that was on the river bank and that still had cows' hooves tracks in it. Then the voice told me, reminding me of something I actually said in my normal life inside the office of my two ex-colleagues in the Mayor's Center, Nikhlef, Louisiana, where I was then working in year 1996 near Mohammedia. The voice expressed it in the following way in Arabic. But as for you, you said that you don't cow. They used the word cow in Arabic to express the verb meaning to raise one's backside like a cow in its standing position. I said only once that outrageous words in my ex-colleague's office in year 1996 as I remembered it clearly. This episode meant that Companions 96 had set a concealed microphone and a pinhole camera in my ex-colleague's office, and surely it was likewise as far as my office is concerned. As reply to that comment by the voice on my crawling there in the mud near the river, I said, but as for this, it is working. I thought then that Companions 96 were making me do physical exercise and training like a soldier when they crawl. After that position in the mud, the voice ordered me to stand up and rejoin the tarmac road. But before I reached the road, the voice told me in Arabic, lie on your back on the ground. When I lay on my back there, still shivering from the cold of my wet clothes, the voice added, as if Companions 96 had abandoned me there, stay there. But only after a short moment the voice came back and told me, get up, go ahead. Before I arrived to the road, Companions 96 dictated an Arabic formula to me and asked me to repeat it aloud. That formula was, "Long live the King Hassan II." I shouted aloud in Arabic, "Long live the King Hassan II." Then the voice ordered me to repeat that formula louder, and I obeyed again. When I was led again on the tarmac road verge, and when something stirred near a tree there, making me jerk out of fear, the voice told me, "As for you now, don't fear anything. The King Hassan II had blessed you." I remind you that I did that night journey barefooted. I will proceed to relate the other events of this kidnapping operation via voices in other videos. As reference for these voices, sounds technology companions used, you have the book Mind Control, The Ultimate Brave New World by Dr. Nick Begish. It is on internet.